Completely forgot. Miami is playing Detroit right now. Damn. I won't even be able to watch that because of this. Oh my god. You know what? Here's what we'll do. We're gonna play this game on my phone, and I'm gonna pull this out real quick. All right. Okay. Eesh. My goodness, this is wow. 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 Hmm. Oh man, just getting this set up here. Just getting this set up. Oh, that's what I'm missing. Okay, let's do this. Make sure that's going. Gotta check you. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. Alrighty. Whoa. Okay. Should not be wasting time. I don't know how long I have here tonight. Okay, let me dang, what was I doing the last time? Was it this? I think it was this. Let me see. Oh my god, please don't do this to me today. Alright, let's see here. There we go. There we go. This whole thing gonna be annoying. Alright. Alright, here we go. What are you doing? Alright. Here we go. Am I good? That's good. You're good. It's been running for the last 3 minutes now, just to make sure that everything is A-okay. Been checking things out. We are ultimately good to go. And oh, look at this. We can go from there. All right, let's get this started here. I will not be here for long. In fact, I'm only really here to say my piece and call it a night, ultimately. Especially because it ain't going to be a night where I can be here for long. So this isn't even a therapy session. This is essentially just a brief discussion. And once the therapy session hits, y'all know how it is. Oh boy. All right. Let's trying to get a few things to set up here, and it's just it's just not working. You know what? It's fine. It's cool. It's okay. I'm gonna just say my piece and call it a day, all right? I was trying to get this last thing to work, but you don't want to work. Whatever. All right. So could have made a video, but I don't really got time to edit. I can't even be here for long. So I want to say my piece, call it a day. Hopefully you guys can watch this back later, because we are not going to be here long. What's going on, Loyal? I need to specify, I got people coming over tonight. Some are already here, so I have to make this as quick as possible. I want to emphasize this. This is not the therapy session. This is not the therapy session. So anyone coming here for that, you can see the title. If this was the therapy session, I would have labeled it the therapy session. I'm going to have the therapy session tomorrow night. I don't care about Sunday Night Football. I really don't care about Sunday Night Football. So I'm essentially going to be having the therapy session tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night will be the therapy session. Um, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be said there. I know people want to say a few things here tonight. I would say save it for the therapy session tomorrow night. I just want to say my piece because I didn't really make a recap of the game. So I'm going to get my piece off, read some of the comments, and then we're going to call it a night. But I do want to give everyone a quick notice. We will be having the therapy session tomorrow night during Sunday Night Football. Would have loved to do it today, but I do got people at the house today. So honestly, I don't have the time to initially be here for a few hours to do that because I got family coming over here. So essentially, I just want to get my piece out, say what I got to say, and then go from here. So Ravens took a tough L on Thursday night. And if you had any sort of hope or faith left in the team, Thursday night really did a good job in killing it. Now, when I was streaming the game, I cannot lie to you, this game pissed me off. It didn't piss me off because I thought the team had any actual hopes or chances of doing something special like getting to the playoffs and going the distance. I don't have any hope, belief, or expectations on this team. What annoyed me and pissed me off about Thursday night's game was we did exactly what we did Thursday night is what we do against Kansas City, but we did it to the 3-8 Cincinnati Bengals. That's what angered me. All the mistakes, the crumbling, the mistakes, everything that was happening, all of that. Switch out Cincinnati for Kansas City, not a single fan bats an eye. It's the norm. The way they played on Thursday night, if they played that way if it was Kansas City that they were going up against, everyone would be like, okay, well, they always do this against Kansas City. Look at the Chiefs game. Was anybody mad at the Chiefs loss? We all knew that was coming. We spent the whole week telling Chiefs fans, bro, we are going to get beat by you. We know what's going to happen. This team has not changed. Our head coach has not changed. The mindset, the philosophy of this team hasn't changed. Y'all have us dead to right. We're going to get smoked in Kansas City. We said that. The Ravens got smoked in Kansas City, and not a single fan bat an eye because we already knew what was going to happen. That's how predictable this team has become. So when they lost to the Chiefs in an embarrassing fashion, we knew that was going to happen. That's just become a common occurrence for this team. But when they lost the way they did to the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that we have been able to consistently beat, especially with Lamar Jackson. Lamar, out of all the divisional foes, Lamar has put up his best numbers against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's put up his best numbers against the Bengals. He's put up his best numbers on prime time. He's put up some of his best numbers on Thursday Night Football. So everything felt like it was supposed to be a night where the Ravens just won another game. Nobody was going to have high praise for the Ravens beating up on the Bengals team. But, Joe Burrow back, you felt like it could be something interesting. And it turned into a complete disaster for the Ravens. And it showcased another reason as to why you can't trust this team. There's no reason to trust this team. There's no reason to have faith, confidence, belief in this team. At this point, when you look at this Ravens team, the only thing you can hope for is that they're the 2011 Giants. Because that's what y'all are trying to convince everybody. Anybody that still has hope in this team, you're hoping they're the 2011 Giants. That 2011 team that wasn't great, that went 9-7 and got in the playoffs, that nobody expected to do anything, they went on to win the Super Bowl. Or maybe you're thinking about the 07 Giants, who again, didn't look great. Eli Manning was on the verge of being ran out of New York because he wasn't playing well and he wasn't doing anything for the Giants. And then they go on that magical run in 07, beat the undefeated Patriots and win the Super Bowl. So essentially, we're thinking we're one of those magical teams. That's the delusion fans have to live with. That is a 0.0001% chance in terms of occurrence. It's so rare you get a 2011 Giants or 2007 type run from a football team. But as a fan, you got to hope your team is just going to be that team. You just got to hope your team is going to be that team. Realistically, this team is not that. They're not that type of team. Realistically, if we're going to be realistic about the Ravens, they're not a team that's going to go on a run. They're not. They're not a team that's going to go on a run. What they can do is potentially make the playoffs. And even though they're 6-6 and, things aren't looking the best, at the end of the day, this team could still make the playoffs. I think, honestly, this division isn't great. The AFC North has not been great this year, and I think if this team is able to rally together, which I think people are questioning that right now, but if they're able to rally together and Lamar can get his play together, they'll still find a way to make the playoffs. I think this is a team that could ultimately make the postseason, but would you trust these guys to do anything in the postseason? The Ravens have shown you nothing in the postseason during this era, so I don't think anybody would have high expectations for this team. Then again, at the same time, the optimistic fan and all of us will sit back and say, well, we won 2 championships in years where everything was chaotic. Why not win another one here? That's great, Isaac. You said that last year and what happened? You said that the year before and what happened? You said that the year before, what happened? Dude, we are all fans of this team. All of us want to be proven wrong. I've been waiting for years for the Ravens to prove me wrong. They didn't prove me wrong last year. I said they'd go 12-5. I said they'd win the AFC North, and I said they'd lose to Buffalo or Kansas City. That happened dead to right. They have yet to prove us wrong. Y'all come here every year. This Isaac is an example with this. Isaac is an example of the optimism that all fans have. Which again, I'm not saying Isaac's wrong for having that. We're fans of the team. If you're not gonna have faith or at least show optimism for your team, why are you rooting for them? I get that aspect. He's a clear example of that. The idea of and the mindset, oh, they're about to prove everybody wrong. They about to go on this run. We still good. We got this. Every single fan has that belief of their team. You don't think Buffalo still believes they can go on a run? You don't think Kansas City thinks they can get out of this hole? Every team has that sort of belief. The Dallas Cowboys aren't even in the playoffs right now. They need a lot of things to go their way. And their fans still have belief that they could get to the postseason. And maybe this could be the year the Dallas Cowboys get to the Super Bowl. As a fan, you have to have optimism about your team, no matter what. I'm one of the most pessimistic fans in this fan base, just like a lot of us. But you still have to have that level of basic faith and hope, or at least that level of blind optimism that your team can just go on a run and get it done. Realistically, that's not going to happen. There's only one team that wins the Super Bowl. And a team as inconsistent as Baltimore, they don't usually go on to win anything. Right now, we're hoping that we're the 2011 Giants. We're really hoping we're the 2011 Giants. But how often in history is that really the case? Not much. The only thing we can lean back on is the fact that our 2 championships that we've won have come in years where everything's been chaotic. Nobody was picking the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl and win the championship in 2012 when they made the playoffs. That regular season was a disaster. It started great. Ray Lewis suffered a season-ending injury. It absolutely plummeted. We were on the verge of missing the playoffs. We were up and down, teeter-tottering. Ray Lewis comes back at the end of the year. He tells the team it's his final ride, it's his last ride, it's the General's last ride, and they go on a magical run. We've won 2 championships in years that we weren't expected to do anything. When we went into the postseason, no one expected us to do anything. So again, we as a fan base have to hold on to that level of optimism. I know. Unfortunately, I cannot sit here and base my observations and my examination of this team and my discussions of this team and I don't have expectations, but I cannot base my assessments overall on this team off of blind optimism. I can't sit here and lie to the audience and be like, we're 6-6. We got humiliated by the 3-8 Bengals. Joe Burrow's first game back, and he didn't even play well. We're going to get into some of these numbers. Joe Burrow did not have a great game. Ja'Marr Chase did not he did not go off. Everyone was like, 253 touchdowns. He didn't score a single touchdown. He didn't go off. Ja'Marr Chase didn't go off. Joe Burrow barely completed 50% of his passes. They weren't really playing well as a whole because Burrow was rusty, and they still torched us because we turned the ball over 5 times. So, we're a 6-6 football team. We're in the worst division in the conference this year. Usually that's the AFC South. This year it's the AFC North. We're in the worst division in the conference. The Steelers are not that great either. We could win this division. But do you really look at this football team and say, oh, yeah, they're going to go on a run? The sad part about it is, and we'll get into depth about a lot of this, I want to keep everything very light here because when we have the therapy session tomorrow night, I know we're going to go in. We're going to go in. I'm not trying to bring up numbers. I'm not trying to bring up performances. I don't want to bring up moments in the game. I know everybody wants to talk about the fumbles. I'm keeping everything light tonight because I know the therapy session is going to go on for 2 hours, and I know we are going to cover everything, and you guys are going to be going at it. So I'm trying to keep everything light here. That's why I'm speaking more about the optimism a fan can bring to the table. But yeah, we are a 6-6 football team. The reality of the situation is we're a 6-6 football team. Our quarterback is playing the worst football of his career. He's putting up numbers he's never put up in his career before in the worst way possible. He's in an absolute slump. Now, me personally, I'm not too concerned with that specifically because there's moments in your career you're going to have that. I remember in 2023, Mahomes was putting up the worst numbers of his career, and everybody actively said, bro, this dude's not playing like a top 10 quarterback. The Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs. And they made the playoffs, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. I remember when Allen was putting up horrible numbers, he was just turning the ball over way too much. And everyone's like, oh, the Bills might lose the division to the Dolphins. They may lose here. They may even miss the playoffs. They went on and won the division and made the playoffs. And he still put up good numbers by the end of this. So again, all great players are going to have slumps. It happens. I'm not really concerned about that aspect of the slumps. What I am concerned with is the fact that this defense proved me exactly right. We'll get more into this because I do want to showcase the numbers. So we'll get more into this in the therapy session tomorrow. I'll try to keep everything as light as possible. So we'll get more in depth into this tomorrow. But I told you guys for weeks now, when everybody was talking about this defense holding offenses to under 20 points, I said, look at the quarterbacks and look at the offenses you're looking at. The Jets with Tyrod Taylor. The Browns with Shedeur Sanders, who had his first experience in the NFL, and Dillon Gabriel in the first half. The Minnesota Vikings with J.J. McCarthy. None of this was good. The only thing that you can make an argument that was good was Chicago with Caleb Williams. And that was easily the worst game they played in their stretch. They started the season 0-2, and they're 7-1 since. The one loss was to Baltimore, where their offense, for some reason, did not show up. I gave credit. That's probably the best defensive performance they've put up this entire run, because they actually were able to shut down that Bears offense. Now, the Bears are not a high-octane offense, and Caleb Williams isn't seen as an elite quarterback, but they are a good enough offense to at least be 8-3 right now. So I feel like I can give some credit when it comes to that defense making stops. But I told you guys, when everybody was talking about this defense is back, I said, you need to be careful. I told y'all they haven't gone up against an elite quarterback. I told y'all they haven't gone up against a high-octane offense. When they go up against that, that will be a test. And I said, based off of what they showcased in the beginning of the year and the fact that they haven't been tested in the last month and a half, if they go up against an elite quarterback with a high-octane offense, they're going to get exposed. What happened on Thursday night? They couldn't make a stop to save their lives. At some point, those field goals add up. And I talked about this too. Just like the 2017 Ravens, which I've been making comparisons in recent weeks when it comes to this Ravens defense. I've compared this Ravens defense to the 2017 Ravens. If you remember the 2017 Ravens, that was a defense that was all about bending but not breaking. They were a bend but don't break type defense that gave up a lot of plays, gave up a lot of yards, but wasn't really giving up a lot of points. The reason why is because they were really good in the red zone. And when they weren't doing well in the red zone, they were creating a lot of turnovers. But you're not going to get that every week. So what happens when your defense isn't able to consistently make stops in the red zone and they're not getting turnovers to save them? Go back and look at some of these games. There were opportunities for these opponents, for these offenses. The Jets with Tyrod Taylor, the Browns with Shedeur Sanders. There were opportunities there. What ended up happening? Turnovers in the most opportune time. Honestly, we should have lost to the Browns. We should have lost to the Jets. But the defense was not going up against an elite quarterback or a high-octane offense. So because of that, we were able to escape those games with wins. The same with the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of the games we won, I was saying it, we were escaping. But I literally said, this defense is not going up against an elite quarterback. You can go back and call me. I said the second this team starts facing up against high-octane offenses or an elite quarterback, they were going to get exposed. And that's what happened Thursday night. Joe Burrow wasn't even Joe Burrow. Like I said, he barely completed 50% of his passes. I think he completed 54% of his passes. I'll have to check it. He wasn't great. He missed a lot of throws. He wasn't himself, but he made plays here and there. And I sat back and said, it's one thing when your defense has to deal with Tyrod Taylor and the Jets, or Dillon Gabriel and the Browns, or J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. It's one thing when you got to deal with that. Either garbage offenses or not good quarterbacks or rookie quarterbacks. When you're not dealing with the elite of the elite, your defense can look good and pad their numbers. But then you got to deal with an elite one. You got to deal with an elite quarterback. You got to deal with an elite wide receiver, and you got to deal with a high-octane offense. That's what the Cincinnati Bengals have. And I sat back and said, when these guys have to face that, we're going to get to see the true colors of this defense. And I personally believe they were going to get exposed because I wasn't buying into this defense returning to form because they were beating up on trash teams. It's the exact thing they did last year. Go back and look at the teams, other than maybe Houston. Go back and look at the teams that defense turned. Excuse me. Go back and look. Go back and look at the teams that they were facing, the offense that they were facing. When they made the turn with Zachary Orr's defense in the second half of last year, go back and look at the teams. They made that turn. The turn happened after the Bengals game where they got smoked again by Jamar Chase. Go back and look. The very first game, things started to change for them. Who did they play? The Pittsburgh Steelers. That offense wasn't good at all. I think they lost that game 18-16. It wasn't a good offense. It wasn't a good system. They lost that game 18-16. The defense held the offense to 6 field goals. Boswell won the game for them. But that was the start. That right there was the start of this defensive run. Go back and look at the teams they were playing. One of the teams they played was the New York Giants, who they destroyed. That's not a good team. I said Zachary Orr's defense. After the Bengals game, they made some personnel changes, and I said they patched up some holes. That doesn't mean they turned into elite defense. What happened in the playoffs? When they had to face off against an elite quarterback in Josh Allen and a good offense. They didn't do a good job against the Buffalo Bills. They weren't the primary reason we lost. It was the offense turning the ball over in the worst possible moments of the game. Those 3 turnovers came back to bite them, especially Mark Andrews dropping the ball with the 2-point conversion. But at the end of the day, go back and take a look at how the defense played in that divisional round against the Buffalo Bills. You'll get a real good inkling as to how that defense truly was, because that defense didn't do a good job. That defense did not do a good job in stopping Josh Allen. Josh Allen, that was one of Josh Allen's best performances of his career, and he didn't even put up great numbers. But we could not stop the run. We got bullied the entire game by their offensive line, and Josh Allen did whatever he wanted against our team. That's the defense that people were praising. That's that defense that gave up 27 points. And now here we are a year later. This defense played even worse this year than they did last year. They come back from the bye week. All of a sudden, they start patching up some holes. You go get Alohi Gilman. You go make some of these moves. You get to move Kyle Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage. Again, patching up some holes. You start going up against some bad offenses, and all of a sudden, this defense is back in shape. And I'm telling you, they're going up against Tyrod Taylor in the Jets offense. They're going up against Dylan Gabriel in the Browns offense. They're going up against J.J. McCarthy. And if you watch those games, our offense was so terrible in those games that, in all honesty, if the defense was playing just as bad as they played earlier on in the season, we wouldn't have won a single one of those games. We're 6-6 right now because we survived. We should have lost to Cleveland. We should have lost to the Jets. Probably should have lost to the Vikings as well. But the defense was going up against bad offenses and either rookie quarterbacks that weren't ready or just not good quarterbacks. So they weren't going up against the elite of the elite. Thursday night was the first time. It was the first time. Thursday night was the first time since the Rams game that they faced off against an elite quarterback and an elite offense. And that defense got exposed. All they could do was hold them to 3. All they could do was hold them to 3. This is why when anyone continues to run their mouth about this team, they'll say these things when things are going well, and they'll ignore the fact that we have clear eyes and we can tell doing this against the Cleveland Browns don't mean nothing. And the thing about it is, in all honesty, had Joe Burrow not played, it's an entirely different game. If it was Joe Flacco, I don't know if we lose that game or not. I don't. There's a difference between Joe Flacco at this point in his career. He's still playing great, still showcasing he could play even in his 40s. But Joe Flacco at this point is not an elite quarterback. There's a huge difference between having Joe Flacco out there and Joe Burrow. If Flacco would have played on Thursday night, it's an entirely different game. But Joe Burrow, even with him not being 100%, Joe Burrow, as an elite quarterback, when he sees things, he's going to make it. That touchdown throw, that touchdown pass, the first touchdown pass that happened, I don't even know who caught it, who was being covered by Kyle Hamilton. That's an elite quarterback making that play against an elite safety. The second touchdown pass, he literally saw the shift in the defense and threw it a strike right in the soft part of the defense, right where Iosivas was for the touchdown. That's an elite quarterback making an elite throw. When you have an elite quarterback going up against this defense, they get exposed. If Joe Burrow was 100%, trust me, he would have walked away with 4 or 5 touchdowns. If he was not rusty, he would have walked out of that game with 4 or 5 touchdown passes. There were throws in that game he missed that he shouldn't. There was a throw on 2nd and 17 early on in the game. Ja'Marr Chase was one-on-one with Nate Wiggins. He beat him off the line of scrimmage, got separation. Trust me, if Joe Burrow was 100%, he hits Ja'Marr Chase in stride. That's an easy 6 points right there. But they were just throws that he was missing. In the second half, he started making those throws. You see that bomb he threw to Ja'Marr Chase when Marlon Humphrey was covering him? That's an elite throw by an elite quarterback. I've spoken on this. I've absolutely spoken on this. When this defense has to go up against an elite quarterback and elite offense, they start to show their true colors. This defense isn't built to beat anybody. They're not built to beat the top of the top. They're built to survive and help you win games against inferior competition. They're not good enough to get it done against the elite competition. They'll be able to patch some holes and they'll be able to hold on. But if you don't have an elite offense, you can't do nothing with this defense. This defense is not going to help you win. And the sad part about it is, I don't even think the defense played bad yesterday. They did get exposed, but I don't think they played bad yesterday. Because at the end of the day, Joe Burrow didn't play great. But the Ravens offense turned the ball over 5 times. As much as I'm getting on the case of the defense, and by the way, I've already said it, I'm not putting an ounce of blame. I don't know if I've said this, I'm not putting an ounce of blame on the Ravens defense for Thursday night. I'm not putting an ounce of blame. When we start the therapy session tomorrow, I need to start off with the defense and speak about this because I want to get that part out the way. I don't blame the defense for us losing the game. The defense made a 4th down stop. The defense made several stops. But they're not an elite defense. They're not. There's only a certain amount of things they can do. If we turn the ball over 5 times and we had Cleveland's defense, they're not scoring 32 points because that defense was going to make a stop. But our defense is not good enough to do that. But that's fine. Most defenses aren't good enough to overcome your offense turning the ball over 5 times. The offense is 100% the reason we lost this game. No question. I'm just pointing out how the defense started to get exposed because even when the ball was being kicked off to them and they were it was being punted off to them and they had to go the distance on these long drives, the Ravens defense wasn't making stops on long drives. Forget about the turnovers. Go look at the drives where the Bengals had to go down the field. They were still able to move the ball against them. Like I said, they're the 2017 Ravens. They create a bunch of turnovers. They give up a lot of plays, a lot of yards. They don't give up a lot of points when they're in the red zone. But if they don't create turnovers and they're not consistently making stops in the red zone, they're going to get cooked like what happened tonight. Not tonight, not like what happened on Thursday night. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to talking about the defense. Like I said, we're going to go further in depth. I don't want to bring you, you've seen, I haven't talked about the stats. I haven't brought up the play-by-play. I haven't done none of that. When it comes to the therapy session, we're going to go through the numbers and we're going to go through the stats. But for tonight, we're keeping things short, sweet, and simple because I can't be here for long. So, yeah, that was just about the defense. Offensively, it was a mess. Dude, I don't have any trust and faith in this offense at all. Last year, I had trust and faith in the offense to at least show up. And even though we lost in the playoffs, the offense did show up. I need to keep this in mind. The offense showed up in the playoffs. We lost last year, but the offense did show up in the playoffs. We hurt ourselves with the 3 turnovers. You don't have those 3 turnovers, we put up 30-plus points against Buffalo, and we take ourselves down to Kansas City. But that's beside the point. The offense did show up. In both playoff games, we scored 28 and 25. The Ravens offense showed up for the first time in the Lamar Jackson era, other than the divisional round game when they showed up in the second half. For a full game, the offense did show up in both playoff games. So I will give credit to that. They showed up in both playoff games. Things just did not go in our favor. But, you know, and that offense in 2024 was sensational. Boy, I miss watching that offense. The offense this year, it's not even the same. First, we do have to start with Lamar again, which again, when we get to the therapy session, we'll speak on him. Lamar's just not playing well. Lamar's not playing well. And yes, before anyone brings it up, I did see it, and I'm pretty sure someone brought it up in the chat. We get our yearly bulletin board material for Lamar Jackson, or we get our yearly moment. In 2023, the yearly moment for Lamar Jackson was Johnny, and everybody tracked his numbers since the Johnny tweet. And he put up elite numbers. He put up MVP numbers, won MVP that year, and we went to the AFC title game. So Johnny was the phrase that changed everything around for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to help us get to the AFC title game. We didn't win, but it changed the season around. 2024, the moment that changed the season around was after the Eagles loss, where Lamar said he got cussed out by his mother. So since he got cussed out by his mother, Lamar Jackson, again, put up elite numbers, helped us win the AFC North, we won the division, and he put up historical numbers during that time. Should have won MVP, but it is what it is. So 2023, it was Johnny. 2024, it was him getting cussed out. This year for 2025, some dude, I don't even know the name of the guy. I don't even know the username of the tweet. Some guy tweeted out, "Is it time to finally admit that Lamar Jackson is a little overrated?" Lamar saw that tweet, responded to that, and said, "Say less." So say less is now the new comment for the year. If you want to hold on to that and start taking a look at the stats Lamar's going to put up past the say less comment when someone actively said he's overrated, and Lamar saw that and said say less. So we'll see what numbers Lamar puts up moving forward. And then we'll be like, man, Lamar has done this since he said say less in response to that dude calling him overrated. We'll be doing that again because that's just how we operate. And that's how we've been operating the last few years. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Yes, I know about the tweet because I'm sure somebody brought it up here. But that's beside the point. Lamar is having the worst stretch of his career. I was worried about it Thursday night when that was consistently happening. But, dude, my worries went away when you actually looked at it. I'm not going to lie. I left that game more worried about the offense as a whole than Lamar. Because even though Lamar overall didn't play well, dude, we were talking about him in the first quarter missing throws and that fumble. Past that first fumble, go look at the game, dude. Past that first fumble, it was not Lamar's fault. Lamar didn't play as bad as we want to make it. Did he play great? I don't think he played great. Did he play good? I don't think he played good. Did he play terrible? No. Did he play bad? Yes. The ending result would look bad. But if you actually go and look at the film and look at the tape, dude, Lamar played better in this game than he did in the Browns game, and he did in fact, that was the best game of the last 4 games he's played. That was, I know it's crazy and it doesn't sound right to say it because of how the numbers ended up being. But technically, if you look at the film, in terms of how Lamar was throwing the ball, that was the best he looked since the Dolphins game, which was his first game back. I'm not joking. Lamar should have, despite everything that was happening, the Ravens should have been up 21-9 heading into the halftime. Lamar had 2 touchdown passes that were wiped off. Lamar had a great throw to Isaiah Likely, who fumbled the ball at the goal line to cause a touchback. That should have been a touchdown. That would have given us the lead. Then, on another play, I think it was the next drive, Lamar had a perfect throw to Zay Flowers for the touchdown that got taken back because of an offensive pass interference call on Zay Flowers. He pushed off in the situation with one arm, which again, the refs have always been iffy about that. Some refs don't call it, other refs do call it. I never know how they assess it. But there was a slight push off by Zay Flowers, who didn't need to push off. He didn't need to push off. He already had separation. Dude, just locate the ball and catch it. There's no need to push off. Contact, no contact. You ain't got to push off. You have separation against the receiver. Just speed up and catch the damn ball. I don't know what he's doing there. Either way, 2 touchdowns were taken off the damn board. There was also another throw down the field to Tez Walker. If Tez Walker, and the defender fell down. If Tez Walker makes that catch, it was a bomb. It was a great throw by Lamar. It was a bomb to Tez Walker. It was there. He had the opportunity to catch it. If Tez makes that catch, he could probably turn around and score. So there were throws Lamar made in the game that we just didn't capitalize on it. Receivers dropping passes, receivers fumbling the ball, receivers committing idiotic penalties. I'm not going to sit back and pretend the second one wasn't the fumble, bro. that was an incomplete pass. I would have looked to challenge it. It's if he was throwing it and then tried to take it back and then fumble it, fine. But his arm went forward, and even though the ball was leaning down, that should have been. I don't know if we got to challenge that or review it. I feel like that should have been an incomplete pass as opposed to. I felt it should have been an incomplete pass as opposed to what's it called? Fumble, but they called it whatever they called. So the fumble, again, I don't know. I don't believe that was a fumble, but again, I would like to see, someone can do a breakdown on that to showcase to me why that's a fumble. I'm always down for that, but I didn't think that was a fumble. And then the interception, the ball was tipped. I'm not even again, the ball was tipped. Go look at the play. The ball was tipped. It's not like Lamar just threw it into the hands of the receiver, not the receiver, into the hands of the defender. That interception, it was a tip pass. Dude, every interception, damn near every interception Lamar's thrown this year has just been on the tip pass. Like none of these, Lamar doesn't throw picks like that. And all 4 of the picks he has this year have been tipped passes that have been picked off. So maybe he's got to change up how he's throwing some of these, because a lot of his passes are getting tipped at the line of scrimmage. That interception was on a tip pass. Go look at the play. Mark Andrews was open for the end zone. Lamar was trying to throw it over the top to Andrews so he can get it on the touchdown. The ball got tipped, fluttered, and got picked off. If it doesn't get tipped, it's probably a touchdown to Andrews. So I'm not holding Lamar accountable for the interception. That's just one of the plays that was made by a great defender, or it was a great defensive play, and it resulted in a turnover. However you want to look about that. I don't know who tipped it, so I don't know if he's a great defender or not. But it was a play. It was a great play by the defense, and it caused the pass to be tipped. It's not really on Lamar on that one. That's more so the defender making a play and tipping the pass. Tip picks are never the fault of the quarterback, but it will go on their stat sheet. So yeah, the interception for the most part, that's not really on Lamar, but it is going to go on him because it is a turnover that's going to go on the stat sheet on him. And then the second one, I don't think that was a fumble, but they did rule it a fumble, so it's going to go on him. The first fumble was absolutely on him. Dude, tuck the ball in. You already got the contact is there. Protect the football, dude. And that's the thing about this team and why I don't think I can ever trust them. I can't trust them. This team has a horrible case of fumbleitis. Nobody can hold on to the damn ball. 4 fumbles on Thursday, dude. 4. Nobody can hold on to the football. And I gave you the names. Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. And for this year, even though he's cleaned it up, Derrick Henry. Those are the guys that fumble the ball a lot. And guess what happened in this game? 2 fumbles for Lamar, 1 fumble for Zay Flowers, 1 fumble from Isaiah Likely. All these guys do is fumble the damn ball. What happened to ball protection? I am so sick and tired of them filming that crap. Every year they want to film that nonsense. You know the whole little drill they do in training camp? That stupid drill they do in training camp, and I'm calling it stupid now because it don't work. That stupid drill they do in training camp, that dumb drill they do in training camp, when they literally start spraying the ball on the floor, right? They start the football's on the turf. They're spraying it with water, and they have all the rookies come in and they have to dive to catch the ball. I hate that stupid drill because no one's ever really doing it well. When it comes to game time, no one's doing a good job on diving on the fumbles. And then another thing, we talked about this last year. Not this year, last year. There was a clip last year where Todd Monken, it was during a practice, early on, they were doing drills. Todd Monken was down there working with these guys, and he didn't like what he was seeing from the wide receivers. You guys remember that? You remember that from last year? Where there was a clip of that, where Todd Monken did not like what he was seeing from the receivers when it came to protecting the football. And he actually went up to them to talk to them about it and show them how he wants them to protect the football. None of these guys are listening. They can't hold on to the football. They can't hold on to the football. Do I think the Ravens will still make the play? There's a chance. I mean, they're fighting. Again, it's them or Pittsburgh. It's Baltimore or Pittsburgh for the division, so it could go either way. Ravens still have a chance. But it's the same story. These guys don't hold on to the football at all. They don't hold on to the football. They don't. And it's getting tiring of watching these guys constantly fumble the ball. I don't know what's going on in these guys' heads. There's defenders everywhere trying to swat at the ball. Why in this moment of mindset does it never get in your head, I need to protect this football? Everyone's trying to make a big play and no one is ever focused on protecting the football. You can't make the play if you can't protect the football. hell are you doing? It's the same story every single time, bro. And I'm getting so sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of watching Zay Flowers constantly cut back. And then guess what? Someone's behind him. Boom! Fumble because he's not paying attention. Of course you're not going to see someone from your blind side. Protect the damn ball, dude. You're too busy trying to juke people, make 3, 4, 5 moves. First of all, people getting sick and tired of Zay Flowers not running in a straight line. Secondly, you keep trying to juke defenders. You're forgetting you're in a football game. There's defenders that are coming after you, trying to knock the ball out of your hands. Protect the football. We never do that. We never do that. Isaiah Likely literally catches the ball. He's running. He's got defenders draped all over him. He should be aware someone's going to try to snatch that football. Someone's going to swipe at the football. Dude, you got the football out like this. Cradle the damn thing. Where's my football, man? Where is my football? It's either... No, hold on. Isaiah Likely's literally running with the ball. He's trying to cross it across the goal line. Dude, cradle the ball. You got defenders on you. It's okay if you don't make it in the end zone. Everybody's too busy trying to be a hero and make a play. Cradle the damn football. Protect the ball. And if you get tackled short, you get tackled short. That's why Derrick Henry's here. Give him the damn ball. But no, Isaiah Likely want to go do all these extra. He wants to put the ball. He's got multiple defenders on him. He knows these guys are going to try to swipe the ball out of his hands. He wants to try to put it ahead to try to cross the pylon instead of protecting the football. Fumble. The saddest part is that's not even the worst fumble of Isaiah Likely's career. He had a worse fumble last year against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You remember just before halftime where Lamar threw a little bit of a screen or a check down to Isaiah Likely? Patrick Queen knocked the ball out of that man's hands. Fumble. Steelers recover. They kick a field goal before halftime. Like, this is what I'm talking about. What is wrong with these guys? These are the things that I'm talking about. They never execute in these moments. Why are you not protecting the football? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. They're never protecting the football. Zay Flowers doing too much, just running a straight line. He's always trying to cut back. And guess what? Someone's coming to knock him senseless, and they knock the ball out every time. Enough. Isaiah Likely not being, I don't even know where his mind is at that time. Protect the football. But dude, with Lamar, I don't even know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. I can't tell Lamar to not be Lamar. I'm getting sick and tired of all these damn fumbles. I don't have to worry about Lamar throwing picks. He don't throw a lot of picks. But these damn fumbles? Dude, I'm getting tired of watching these fumbles with Lamar. The second one, I will argue that's not a fumble, that's an incomplete pass. But the first one, Lamar, you got a defender draped over you. You feel the contact. They got a hold of you. Protect the football. I'm not saying you can't still go make a play. Get 2 hands on the damn football. That's my thing with Lamar. A lot of time where his fumbles are happening, he never has 2 hands on the ball. I guess that's just how it is for these dual threat quarterbacks. Does Josh Allen do the same? Because there's been times where I'm watching Josh Allen. He's running towards the sideline, and he's running like this with the ball in one hand. He's running like this. Lamar's running like this to the sideline with one ball in the hand. I guess that's just what dual quarterbacks do. Because when I watch Allen and Lamar play, they always got it. I've seen Josh Allen fumble the ball a few times doing that. Hell, we got him last year. I think it was Kyle Van Noy that got him last year because he was rolling. The ball had it. The ball was in his hands like this, and Kyle Van Noy came and knocked it out of his hands for a fumble. Maybe that's just something dual threat quarterbacks do, because Michael Vick used to always run with the ball like this. And it's like, all right, I'm taking off. I'm extending the play with the ball in one hand. You got to get 2 balls. Not 2 balls, Jesus Christ. You got to get 2 hands on the football. You got to get 2 hands on the football. Joe Burrow's doing it the right way. When you got guys swiping at you, Joe Burrow, no matter what, every time he's extending the play, 2 hands on the football, 2 hands on the football, 2 hands on the football. But with Lamar and Allen, a lot of times I'm seeing it 1 hand there. Listen, if the fumbles are going to continue to happen, you got to change your approach, man. That's just my thing. And it gets really tough because anytime you want to criticize Lamar, all of a sudden you're a hater. If you criticize Lamar, you're a hater. If you praise Lamar, you're glazing him and you're a Lamar fan. There's no in between. It's getting annoying in this era where we can't actually speak on football and speak on these players. Every time you criticize an athlete, you're hating on them. Every time you praise an athlete, you're glazing him. So where's the analysis? Where's the discussion? I hate that we have these conversations when it comes to players like Lamar Jackson. It gets annoying. It really does get annoying. There's nothing I can do about it, but it gets annoying. Uh-huh. All right. See, this is all right. See, this is what I be talking about, guys. I already told y'all I ain't gonna be able to be here long. Give me a second. We're gonna have to wrap up here. But I'll be right back. I don't know when. But like I said, I ain't gonna be here long, guys. That was a long one. Guys, had a little bit of an emergency situation here. Had to deal with it. Cannot lie. I'm probably have just realized my microphone was not on. Did not realize my microphone was on. So yeah. Let me repeat myself here. We got to an hour, so yeah, I was muted. I thought I was unmuted, but I was muted. So yeah, I'm gonna probably have to end things here. Had a little bit of an emergency situation upstairs. So because of that, I was kind of gone for a while, and I gotta make sure that everything is okay moving forward. It's nothing serious. Situation's already been handled, but it would just be best for me to kind of be upstairs just to monitor that situation. I do have people in the house just to make sure everything's okay. So, yeah, nothing too serious. Just had to handle that. You saw the knock on the door. That was something I had to take care of. So ultimately, I am gonna have to end the stream here. Guys, we will be back tomorrow for the therapy session. Today was just a light discussion. It was a light discussion. We wanted to briefly talk about this. Tomorrow will be the full-on therapy session. So we'll be here for we'll be doing the therapy session during Sunday Night Football. So we will be here for that ultimately. Or if not Sunday Night Football, late in the night, depending on how things are going to go. So unfortunately, I do have to cut things here because I got to monitor things upstairs, make sure everything's okay with that. Situation has been averted or has been solved, so I got to make sure that's okay. But yeah, I will have to cut things short here. Man, I wish I had time to read the comments, but I do ultimately have to end things here. Just know we'll talk about this more tomorrow. We'll be going into that full on tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Therapy session will be happening tomorrow night, so be on the lookout for that. Hopefully everything will go swell when it comes to that. And well, I can't say swell. I'm saying swell in terms of being able to have the conversation go on fully without any interruptions, because today was a situation where interruptions happen, and then a little bit of an emergency situation that resulted in me having to go upstairs for some time to figure that out. Yeah, hopefully nothing will happen tomorrow and everything will be okay and we'll have the full discussion. But to just briefly recap what we were talking about here, Ravens defense was not the primary cause, wasn't even the main cause. It wasn't even the cause as to why we lost this game. When your offense turns the ball over 5 times, you're going to lose that football game. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care how bad or good the team is. When you turn the ball over 5 times, you're going to lose a football game. You cannot put that on the defense. At the same time, I talked about the defense going up against an elite quarterback and an elite offense. I said they'd get exposed. They did. When the Ravens didn't turn the ball over, the Bengals were still able to move the ball down the field and put points on the board. So the Ravens defense wasn't really getting stops all night, and they couldn't create turnovers. So take that with how you will. When you're going up against Tyrod Taylor, when you're going up against Dylan Gabriel, when you're going up against JJ McCarthy, you could do whatever you want against those guys. But when you're going up against Joe Burrow, it's a different conversation. So yes, defense did get a little exposed, but they're not the reason we lost. Offense was putrid. Lamar is having the worst stretch of his career, but somebody called him overrated on Twitter, and he said say less, so I guess the Super Bowl party's back on for Ravens flock, I guess. I know people are going to be monitoring his stats post say less comments, so get ready for the Steelers game, I guess. And again, this offense, I cannot wait to the therapy session tomorrow because we need to speak more on how bad this offense is and how this offense doesn't do anything functionally correct. Like I spoke about this Thursday night where I said I don't remember how many times I've seen the offense actually function within the flow of a system. A lot of things we do has to be Lamar being Superman to go make a play, like the Isaiah Likely pass. That is getting out of the pocket and extending the play. That's not within the flow of an offensive system. It's not. How often have we seen Lamar just take a 3-step drop back and then throw a quick out route? How often do we see them execute slants consistently? How often are they just executing these dig routes? How often is it just Lamar takes a 3 or a 5-step drop back, stands in the pocket, and just delivers on time to where it needs to be? We don't have, I'm just talking about a typical drop back offense. We don't get to see it. The only time you get to see that from Lamar, where there's any level of fluidity with this offense, is when he's initiating play action from under center. That's the only time we see fluidity within this offense. When he's in the shotgun, when he's just drop backing and passing, we don't see it. So we'll talk about the offense, its problems, the issues we have with it. We'll talk about the defense. We'll get into this whole conversation tomorrow. But I do have to end things off tonight here. I knew I wasn't going to get a full time, but once the emergency situation came up, I knew things were going to have to end here. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Fortunately, we do have to cut out here. We were able to get a few things talked about. Don't worry. Therapy session tomorrow. We'll be at it for 2 hours or so. So we'll get our full thoughts about this team tomorrow, and we'll go through it, and everybody can speak their minds about the Ravens moving forward. We don't play till next Sunday, so we ain't got nothing to do this week. I guess people will be watching the Steelers-Bills game to see what happens. But we play Pittsburgh next week. They're coming to Baltimore. We'll deal with that however we got to deal with it, and we'll talk about the Steelers game next week as things start to ramp up for that game. But yeah, I'm going to end things here. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you guys pulling up for tonight's stream. And I got to head on out of here. So you guys be sure to take care. We will be back tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Be sure to stay safe